Carolina, what is getting you excited right now, and what is an attractive innovation? What is the contactless of 2010 that you're seeing today that is getting you excited when you are putting on your investor hat? And what are some of the best businesses that you've seen, or best teams coming to you that you've seen recently?
So I'll take it a little step back, just in terms of the frameworks that often helps investors identify what then might be, become something like contactless. What we look for is we look for large markets. Obviously, payments is a good example. Even though in different markets, people behave very differently when it comes to payments. So we should point that out. And then we look for large pain points in those markets. And I think one of the reasons fintech has seen so much disruption is because there are several things about fin services that made it very slow to take up innovation. Obviously, there's regulatory pressures that are onerous for younger disruptors to take on. And there's also the issue of trust. You are, at the end of the day, dealing with people's money. And if you look at, for example, the behavior, just to take it back to payments, the behavior of certain countries, for example, in Germany, where there's very low credit card penetration still. Germans don't like to put their online information, their credit card information online. And as a result, buy now, pay later is about 30% of all online transactions in Germany, more or less, because you can just put it in one place. So we're looking for, markets that are huge and that have large pain points for whatever historical reasons, infant services, regulation, analog behavior, etc., that might be digitizing. And then we look to find a company that has a product that is solving that large pain point in some way. And of course, with product, there's always lots that you can do to improve the product and cover more of the pain point, but that you can see that the early innings of that. And then, of course, the final component, which is a very important component and maybe the most, is that has a team, or the beginning of a team, that can execute against this opportunity. Because sometimes something may not start as contactless, but become contactless. And you don't know at the beginning of the journey what's going to become at the end of the journey. But if the market is there and the product is there and the team is there, then all those things, can triangulate to, really great innovation and really great disruption.
Absolutely. And picking up on that thread, with living in Europe, it's been a very interesting time to look at tech. Laurel, I think that, it's fair to say that a lot of people think of Silicon Valley as being the hub of innovative technology. And they think of, world leaders, tech leaders by name even. So, as the two Americans on on this podcast, is this changing? You've lived here for a while now, as have I. Is this changing a bit? Is there more focus on Europe? And are we going to hear more hype about Europe?
I think we definitely are. I think actually we've proven ourselves in Europe to have some pretty good ideas that are worth, investing in, and we have some very interesting stuff going on. That's not to say, Silicon Valley is going to stop being what it is, but it has big major players there. I think over here we are starting to get bigger and bigger companies that have higher valuations. But I also think, this is also an area where you can still come up with cool ideas and sort of incubate them and grow them and get them into a lot of different markets at once. That's another interesting thing about Europe, of course, is that there's so many different countries you can enter, and you can sort of stress test your offering and your proposition with a lot of different populations. So I think there's some very interesting things that can happen here. So I think we are proving ourselves to have something good to offer for sure.